All right. Welcome to Fantasy Football G. We are finally here, ladies and gentlemen. And while it is the break between FPL, we will be covering the Euros. So, if you want to know exactly what is the winning strategy to actually win the Euros, then trust me, you're in the right place. This is exactly where you're going to get it. Welcome to Fantasy Football, where we're going to be covering everything that is fantasy football. Right now, it's the Euros. We will be covering um, FPL, and we will also be covering the UEFA Champions League fantasy. But right now, let's get into what the winning strategy is to win the Euros. All right. So where we have to start is the actual chip strategy. The chip strategy is going to be what really dictates how you should actually structure your team and which teams you should be targeting. So you want to win the Euros. What do you have to do? You also have to make sure that you have some sense of a differential. And sometimes going left is the best way to go when everybody's going right. And right now, the main chip strategy, and I'm talking about the guys who are the content creators and the guys who are really engaged in content, the main chip strategy for them is to use their limitless in match day 3 and then to go and use their wild card after the af- after the last round of 16 in case of any upsets. Now, the best way we can actually make sure that we can actually gain an advantage on these people is actually going and using your limitless in a different match day. And I think the best way to do this is actually match day 2. Yes, match day 2 is the best way to actually gain an upper hand on everybody who's going to be playing them limitless in match day 3. Now you might be thinking match day 2, but isn't that when we have the hardest fixtures? Exactly. But not only that, also, you know that the teams are going to be playing their top players as well. Whereas in match day 3, you're also not sure who's going to be rested. And so you're able to actually capitalize on actually getting the best players in your limitless. Whereas in match day 3, you could be using your limitless. Yes, fine to be changing your team, but at the same time, you guessing. You guessing. Now, with the strategy, you also got to pay attention to what the transfer rules is for the UEFA Champions League. The transfer rules is you can only carry over one transfer into the next match day. Every match day, you get two free transfers. Yes, that's right, two free transfers. And you have to use one of them because only one can be carried over to the next match day. So, within this chip strategy, what you have to do is match day 1, you have the wild card. Of course, you're selecting your team. Match day 2, when you get into match day 2, make your transfers for match day 3. So make the transfers that you want to be making for match day 3 before you activate your limitless chip. That way you've used your actual transfers so that when you do go to match day 3, you will find the reset team that you actually created in match day 2. And you will also get your two transfers in match day 2, in match day 3, meaning that you've actually used your four transfers as well. So you can change your team. Basically, four transfers, if you ask me and you structure your team properly, I believe is enough to actually counter any changes that will be made in terms of any big teams resting any players. And then your wild card, sticking to it being anywhere really in the after the last round of 16, but the quarterfinals, honestly, I think is the most optimal time because what you can do is you can select again. You get a wild card on that match day 4, so you can select the best squads, select however way you want to do, whatever way you think is the best, and then match day 5. And then if any upsets happen, then you have your wild card to rectify any and everything about that. So, with this said, we're going to have to be focusing on match day 1 and match day 3. Now, what is the team strategy in doing this and making sure we can actually be in the top, not just 100, but number 1? Now, you have to have a team strategy, and at the same time, you also need to have a captaincy strategy. So what are you talking about, Cat? Team strategy? Well, team strategy means you need to look at which teams to target that have good fixtures in match day 1 and match day 3, because those are the only two match days you need to be focusing on when it comes to building your team. Now, the teams that have the best fixtures in match day 1 and match day 3, combined fixtures, not just individual. So, for example, there are honorable mentions like both Italy and Spain have good match day. Italy has a good match day 1, and Spain has a good match day 3 because they're basically rotating and playing Albania. So Italy playing Albania in match day 1, and Spain playing Albania in match day 3. So what you can do, which is most likely what I'll be doing, is because you do still want to have those assets, you don't want to not include them in your actual team, is again, remember you will be able to have 4 transfers, making sure you're, of course, having your strategy executed correctly. You can have match day 1, you can have an Italian player, a couple of Italian players, in fact, 3 if you want to as well, to capitalize on that game. And you can transfer them all out so that you can bring in those Spanish players or any other team basically as well that's playing well on match day 3. But teams that will be playing well in match day 1 and match day 3 have good fixtures is Belgium, Netherlands, Portugal, England, Turkey, Germany, and France. Now, already you can see those are the big boys, quite frankly, and also the favorites. So you should have no problem in picking some of the best players. Maybe some of you might not agree. Please do let me know in the comments. Comment below exactly who do you think has the best fixtures for match day 1 and match day 3, and who you think you'd be picking from those teams as well. And then captaincy strategy. Now, for captaincy strategy, this is what you need to understand, right? In a match day, you'll have 3 to 4 days, right, of teams playing for that match day. So, for example, in match day 1, we will be having 5 days of games. That's just for match day 1. In match day 2, we'll be having 4 days. In match day 3, we'll be having 4 days as well. Now, in each day, you can pick a captain basically for the day. So, the strategy here with captaincy, because this is actually something that's really going for us. For those who play FPL, usually you're only able to select one captain and then just like pray that he actually holds. What you can do is for day 1, where you're playing Germany versus Scotland, you have a captaincy for that day. Day 2, you can pick a captaincy for that day. Day 3, day 4. So what you want to do is you want to try and have a captaincy option for at least 3 to 4 out of the 4 to 5 days in a match day. So I think it's a way in which you can help yourself in terms of basing the structure of your team. So you can actually start thinking, okay, who are the 5 guys I want to captain on each day? Pick those 5 guys and build your team around that so that you know that on this day, I'm actually going to be captaining that guy, and just start to fill in the team in that manner. Now, this is the winning strategy, quite frankly. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Kat, this is great. Honestly, really is. But if you really think so, please make sure you leave the comment in the comment section and let me know what you think of the strategy. Do you think it's a way you can get an upper hand on everybody that is going to be doing the limitless in match day 3? And if they're in, of course, there are multiple different strategies, of course, in which you can gain an upper hand on everybody who's taking the right way and you deciding to go left. But now you're probably thinking, all right, Kat, so how do we execute this? What's the best way we can actually do this? What's the team setup going to look like? Well, then you are going to actually have to check out this video right here in order to see how I've actually set up a team using this exact strategy. And before you do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you also keep up with what other tips and strategies throughout the tournament. And don't forget to sign up for the actual league. I've left the league code throughout the video and in the beginning of it. I'll see you guys in this video.